Good morning, guys. Good morning. It is Thursday, July 8th. We have a little bit of a bloody pre-market in front of us, guys. I hope everybody had a great evening last night. Been up early this morning. Scaled out of the dare trade this morning at around 4 a.m. We had a beautiful pop in pre-market. Take a look at that real quick. Yep, so this morning right around 4 a.m. we got a really nice pop on dare up to the 228 level, 227. Ended up scaling out of the trade here when it broke VWAP at 220. Nice little overnight, but kind of wish we got to move a little bit later in the morning, but it's all right. We'll take it here and there. So yeah, today does look wild. So first off, guys, I want to talk about this. Where I live, we are getting ready we're under a tropical storm warning right now. We're supposed to have some pretty wild weather in addition to the pretty wild market it looks like we're going to have today. So I know they're saying there's a pretty good chance we're going to lose power later today. So we are going to be getting the majority of our move done this morning before the rest of today and tomorrow happens, because we have stuff that needs to be moved outside and things like that. So before the rain really starts, we have to get a lot of that stuff done. So it's going to be a busier morning for me on the home side of things, so I won't be as active as normal. Like I said, I'll probably be busy from around 9:40 until just before lunch. So I apologize for that. Obviously, it doesn't happen a lot, but there are usually some extenuating circumstances where I can't be around once in a while, and this is one of those times. So like I said, though, I'm going to try to walk you through what I'm looking at as far as A-plus opportunities for the day. Like I mentioned before, we do have a bit of a bloody pre-market going on. Futures were down around 1% this morning as around 5 a.m. I talked about this a little bit. I don't know if you guys watched the live yesterday, but I said, you have to be careful, trading these stocks, even like Apple and Amazon, when we're near at the highs, because it wouldn't be the first time that I've seen us, right, like fake a breakout. Like Apple, tested 145 yesterday, rejected it, and then, we get like a market correction, right? Because things are just overextended and they come up with whatever reason. This morning it was the inflation, right? The inflationary talk, right? Raising rates early. So whatever market FUD they want to throw, they'll throw. And that can lead to obviously the action that we're seeing currently in pre-market. A lot of the growth names are down 5 to 6%, right? Like CCIV is getting killed, SPC is getting killed, right? Like all the growth index is just getting destroyed this morning because, the minute we have some market weakness, the inflation FUD gets thrown around and we get this type of morning. So, a day like today, like I mentioned, this is why I didn't want to hold long positions on Apple and, like I said, these, overextended names overnight, because we're kind of due for this type of correction, and it doesn't really matter why it's happening. But, the point is that I'm not surprised. I talked about the threat of something like this happening. I didn't think it was going to happen yet, but it does look like we're in for quite the day this morning. So, on these days, guys, I like to tread lightly anyway. It's very easy to get in a short bias mindset this morning when you see a pre-market like this, right? And then, little do you know, they just immediately rip everything up the minute market opens. So, they'll fake you out with the 1% down bloody pre-market on the indices and then just absolutely rip all these names at open. So I like to kind of let things play itself out. This isn't a morning I would love to be playing the open anyway, because, I'd really like to see how things act. For example, on Apple, right? And obviously, this is one of my main watches on the long side, and now it's going to be one of my main watches on the short side if we do get a pullback, right? So on Apple this morning, we rejected that, we closed at 144.57 yesterday. We've had a pretty big move down already, right? We broke below under this 142 level, currently under VWAP at the 141.62 level. We are nearing this pretty big support of the 141.3. If you remember, this is going to be a crucial support because this was the resistance that we broke on Tuesday, I believe, which was a major trigger point for us to go long on calls, which was the first round of the Apple trade, which is the trade that went like 150% off open. So this is going to be one of those instances, and you guys hear me talk about this a lot, but of old resistance turning into new support. So if we gap down on open, right, and we talk about the red candle strategy, right? So what I would be looking for in this case, right, is a gap down at open. We test this 141.3 level, possibly even the 141 level to a T, and then we bounce, right? It's going to be a key support to hold. If not, we see 140 under it, and then this chart really starts to get some room down right under that level because, we're really pretty overextended here, right? So, if we get under that 140 level, then we have this nice gap down to the 138 level. So, in reality, the trigger for me I want to let the trend develop today, right? So I want to see if the 141.3 level breaks. I will likely start scaling into the 140 puts. And then, if we continue to break down under 140, that's going to be a fantastic trade. I would likely take some off at the 140 level. But the one thing I don't want to do is chase these puts down. So if we, gap down off open, right, and then we bounce right off the support, you want to wait and make sure that this, old resistance, fails. And then that way, obviously, it becomes resistance again, not, old support turning into new resistance. So that's going to be one of my main watches today. Really, Apple's a really nice, smooth trade. Maybe you don't get the craziest percentages sometimes, but just like there's money to be made on the long side of things here on Apple, there's plenty of money to be made on the same way down. So definitely going to be one of my main watches. Like I said, especially with how overextended it is. The weekly was looking fantastic yesterday. I pointed that out. We had this beautiful setup here ready to break out the highs. And of course, what happens, right? When we almost break it, they fake those breakouts all day yesterday, which I told you was a little bit of the action just didn't sit right with me in the first place. So that's going to be my plan and focus on Apple this morning. And I don't want to overcomplicate things today. So I'm kind of going to keep the watch list. When the market is like this, I like to keep the watch list, pretty primarily, to the things that I'm familiar with on the short side of things. So Tesla is another one, right? We are under this 633 level, and there's a lot of room down here, guys. The 616 is our next major support. Pre-market lows already of 624.46. If we break that support, I like, possibly the 610 put. But again, sometimes, when you approach that major support, they may flush it right down to 616 at open. So you have to be really quick. If we saw a bounce, ideally, right, just as if, at market open, if we got the red candle down and then we get long, if we saw a nice little pop here at market open, maybe right to VWAP, reject VWAP at 630, that would be a really bearish signal for me, especially if we reject the 633 level. That would be my stop loss to the upside. But this is this 629 level, 629.5. That'd be a really nice place for me to get in those 610 puts. Obviously got to keep the stops tight. We have 1 day to expiration, so if you're going to trade the weeklies, just make sure that you aren't sticking in these trades too long. If it breaks 633, that's my stop. But if we break to the downside, I think it can be a really, really nice, smooth, and clean trade. So what do you think of NVIDIA puts? I have a nice short thesis on NVIDIA. I don't think it's ready yet. Definitely a gap down, but I kind of want to, again, I haven't traded NVIDIA too much, so I'd like to wait for a really A-plus opportunity on NVIDIA and have a better, grasp on the levels before I enter like a, with any size on a short position, right, or puts. So today, like I said, I'm going to stick with what I know in terms of being short, like on the short side of things, which is Tesla and Apple. These tend to respect their levels to the downside extremely well, guys. So, and I know the levels well, so that's going to be my main focus. Since I won't be trading the open because I'm moving, it's going to be a little bit different, but I'm trying to give you guys pretty much my plan. I might try to sneak in a quick one before I really get started, but we have people coming at 9:45 to start, moving things up to our new apartment. So I'm going to do the best I can, but it's just one of those days where life kind of home life takes precedence. So you could play SPY puts. Personally, I know the levels better on other certain names. SPY puts are it's relatively like trading Apple puts with how much it's weighted. But I just know the levels on Apple extremely well after trading it so much this week. So again, just kind of sticking with what I know, not overcomplicating things, not trying to and the thing with SPY is it's so precise, especially towards the end of the week with where market makers want it to close and things like that. I do think it's important to watch the growth names that for also possible downside positions as well. AMC's been absolutely getting crushed. Right, it's down another 10% in pre-market. Almost under 40. 40 psych level is pretty important here, guys. I mean, there's a gap to fill right on the daily. Like under 40, it gets pretty scary, right? Like we had this major gap up, right? So next logical support, maybe the 31.61 level. I'm likely going to take some Lotto 35 puts on AMC today just because of the gap down. Obviously, especially under the 40 psych level of support, I think we start moving down pretty quickly. Like I said, this is kind of the same setup on every chart right now under VWAP, right, headed into open. I just don't want to get short trapped, right? And I am taking this pre-market live from a short bias position, but remember, they could easily just flip up a switch and rip everything long. So in my opinion, if I was a little bit newer and I was trying to trade on a day like today, size down, realize you don't have to make $1 million every day, right? Of course, but be realistic about your goals. Fantastic day to size down, and be able to be confident in your position size and not worrying about sizing too much. So. Yeah, it's an ugly market to be swinging stuff, guys. The SBC puts or calls, I really hope that we would get a move before the launch. I think it's honestly crazy that we didn't. There was a nice exit opportunity on Tuesday. Unfortunately, I didn't take it. And that's just, a bad trade on my part, but it happens. Had some amazing trades this week as well, so it's okay. If it had worked out on the other side and, SBC had gone back to 57, before the launch, I would have been really happy. So, yeah, like I mentioned. AMC, like I mentioned, my plan here is I'm going to probably get in the Lotto 30 or 35 puts, likely the 35 puts at open, because I think that this is not done. I think what you're seeing right now, guys, is a pretty targeted hit on retail once again. I hate to say it, but it is, in my opinion, the truth. The government doesn't exactly, market maker, like they don't want, all of retail trading stocks not working, right? So I would just be smart. They're coming after the names that are heavily retail based, right? Like you think about it, AHT, DKNG, right? Like AMC, right? There's all sorts of FUD and all these different things coming out, especially with DKNG with the lawsuit, right? Like, and DKNG is like one of, I think, the third or fourth most popular owned ticker on Robinhood, right? So I think you're definitely, Wish, right? All these super heavily long biased retail names are just getting targeted, and it's not really a coincidence anymore. So I would just be smart, mind your risk. It's a nice day, in my opinion, for long-term ads on things that you are high conviction about. SoFi, I'm adding at these levels. I think I'm not worried about really short-term, like the August calls are getting hit right now, but I don't think we're going to see this 14 level, guys. If we do, I'm going to blow the boat, but I personally don't think we are. I'm about 2/3 of the way scaled in on my long-term position, which is now slightly under my average. My goal is to get my average under 17. It was at 17.4. My goal is to get my average under 17 for my long-term position on SoFi. So. Yeah, I think Wish can see probably 850 from this point, maybe 9, which is where we originally started trading it, guys, the first time that we ever took 300% on those calls. So, like I mentioned, just a day to be smart, respect those levels. I'm not going to push anything, especially, until we get, let the trend develop first. Don't try to jump and catch the trend before it happens, right? So we need to let the trend develop and then, trade what's in front of us. At least, that's my plan. That's how I try to attack these days, and I don't try to get too biased one way or another, even though I am coming at this live from, the perspective I do think we are more likely to see, which is the short side of the trades today, guys. So I own a bunch of commons on SoFi. Yes, I own currently 700 shares of SoFi. I'm probably going to add some leaves this week, especially down here. I think that's going to be amazing. I'm going to try to get a total of 1,000, 1,200 shares of SoFi because I really do, in my opinion, think it's a 10x over the next 2 years. So I love the company. I love what they're doing. The revenue is fantastic. Really solid company fundamentals, which in the long run do play out, right? So on a 3, 5, 10-year time frame, right, fundamentals are going to be what matters, right? And so for me, I'm not in it for the Wall Street bet squeeze. I'm not in it for anything other than the fact that I think it's a fantastic company that I've done my DD on that, I'm extremely bullish about. So I hope that makes sense, guys. I want to recap the trades really quickly, then I need to get in the shower and get ready for the day. So like I said, Apple key level is the 141.3 level, which we're testing currently. Under that, 140, big support. If we see 140, be more inclined, to scale out any puts. I did take it open. Likely, I would rather wait for this 140 level to break. Once we break under 140, I don't know if we will, but I think we see the 137 level pretty quickly. Tesla, this one has the opportunity to be a monster. 600 big support, 602 area, huge support. But, like I said on the 5 minute, under this 6, the pre-market low is 624.4. I think that the 616 level is immediate almost. So again, let the trend develop. Don't try to catch the top. If we get that pop and VWAP rejection at open, that's a nice opportunity for me on the 610 puts. Leaps are option calls for 2 to 3 years out, like 2022. So, I like the $45 leaps on SoFi. Yeah. Tesla could be ruining its nice setup too. It had a really nice SPY going on the daily. So, like I said, I like Tesla puts today, probably my A+ setup, just because the gap is so big. If you zoom out a little bit, right, like, if we could break 616 to the downside, I think we see 602 pretty quickly. So I do think we would hold this 602 level. So like I said, my goal is if we get a little pop at open, scale into that 610p and then ride it down. But we shall see. AMC, like I mentioned, at the very least, I'm going to take some Lotto 35 puts. I do not think they're done coming for retail yet. I wouldn't be surprised to see them take AMC down into the 20s sooner rather than later. Like I mentioned, the gap on the daily is pretty clear, right? So 31 level, not out of the question. And then, like I said, long-term rides on SoFi. That's my plan for today. Not overcomplicating it, especially on a bloody summer market day when I'm probably going to lose power later today. But going to do the absolute best we can. As always, guys, that is my plan for the day. That is the extent of today's pre-market live. I'm going to get some rest, take a shower, and then get ready to move. I hope you guys have a fantastic day. Hopefully this is giving you some insight into my plan for the day. And again, if you're newer, this is a fantastic day to learn what a bear market day looks like. At least looks like what's going to be a bear red market day. So, maybe get to play some puts today. It'll be a good time, but I hope you guys have a fantastic day. I will be back again for the end of the week, pre-market live tomorrow. I've been trying to get back on a regular schedule, and I hope that this is going to be, this is my plan once I get moved in, is to do this, at the very least Monday through Thursday, every single morning, same time, because I feel like it's helping you guys a lot. So I hope you guys have an awesome day, and I will check in with you guys later. Have a fantastic day. Peace.